Condos and rental prices in IT Park in Cebu City, Cebu, the Philippines. There are basically five basic condo developments here in IT Park. IT Park is a large business park, meaning it's got commercial buildings, it's got its own mall, Ayala Mall, it's got other restaurants, banks, corporate buildings, all sorts of things. You could live here. It's a city within a city virtually. And a lot of travelers, tourists, and expats, especially on their initial visit, would prefer to live in a place that's Calyx condominium straight ahead there, right in the middle. Would prefer to live in a place fairly developed with a lot of services, restaurants, conveniences, and IT Park certainly is one of those. Now, there are a couple of others. Cebu Business Park, which is Ayala owned as well, in Cebu City, is another one similar to this. It's a mall and several condominiums within its park area, and I'll do another video about some other time. If you enjoy this type of video, think about subscribing. I think uh, less than 60% of people are subscribed that watch these videos. Thumbs up, thumbs down, comments always help with the algorithms. Anyway, we're in IT Park. This initially, many years ago, was an airport, actually. These two towers are the original Avida condominiums, and I've done a number of videos there. I think the white building kind of in the background, I think that is Asia Premier, I believe. I am filming this from the Calyx condominium, and that's Waterfront Hotel back in the background there. And I'm at their pool level. I believe they have a gym. I've done a number of videos in here as well. They're on my site. Avida towers are generally the least expensive of all the five that we're going to talk about. Calyx, of course, you can go anywhere from studio on up in prices with these. You have a good size Ayala Mall central block, it's called, right in the center of IT Park. You have Avida Riala, and I think they have four towers that are occupied at the present time. And on the very right there, you have 38th Park Avenue. High end, I've done videos at all of those condos, so check out my playlist. I'll get into leases in another video, but fully furnished means many different things to different people. It could be very sparsely furnished, it could be lavishly furnished, or something in between. You want to know, does the rent include condo dues? Yes or no? And check the cupboards and utensils. I've been really surprised how many times I've gone into the cabinets when I've looked at units, and the pans were they were just scratched. They had the Teflon or whatever, and it was just totally worn out, rusty, really unhealthy and unusable. So check everything out before you sign a lease. We're going to look at pricing on four different real estate type sites. Everything is in square meters, so I'll tell you how to convert square meters average to get square feet. And then you're going to want to know your conversion factor for the currency from your country into Philippine pesos. Now, the US is about 56, 57 peso to the US dollar. Very good exchange rate. But that has changed. When I came in 2015, it was 48.5, almost 9 pesos less. So that will really affect your cost. You need to know your conversion factor. If you use just 50 pesos per US dollar, that's a good estimation, will keep you safe in your budgeting. I want to start off by introducing you to my YouTube channel, because I have a playlist right here on my channel, and you can go to playlists, and I've got a playlist called like cost of living, news, people, culture, weather, climate, cities and provinces, and we get down here to homes, condos, homes, and apartments. Got 271 videos related to that. And your view won't be the same as mine, but I have a huge list of videos of condominiums, most of them in the Cebu City metropolitan area, but I've done some over on Bohol and some over on Bacolod, as well as Iloilo City. So lots of choices there. And if you want to see what is a condo rent for, what do they look like inside, and you've all heard the term with real estate, location, location, location. Well, IT Park in Cebu City is falls under that high demand. And basically about 10 years ago or so, even a little bit longer than that, there's been a huge demand in Cebu City metropolitan area with many businesses moving in, starting up businesses, call centers, and such, and needing office space in places like Cebu City IT Park. And because of the demand, part of the reason, developers started downsizing a lot of the units. Some, things that were built over 10 years ago generally are a little bit larger than what you see today, because studios, a lot of the studios in the new development start out about 22 square meters. Now, a lot of my viewers are more familiar with square feet. Multiply square meters by 10 and you get close. You get close enough to give you an idea of your square feet. It's just an easy mathematical equation there. Not exact, but it's close. So here you got 60 square meters. That would be, just say, 600 square feet. And then about 4 years ago, we had the governments around the world decided they really wanted to screw up the economy and the livelihoods of tens of millions, billions of people. They shut down international travel, shut down their economies pretty much, and millions of people left the Philippines. So that demand vanished virtually overnight, and with millions and millions of people going back to their home countries. Koreans being a big one, Koreans, Chinese, Japanese, people from all the different Western countries as well. So here we are in 2024, and some of that demand has come back, but we are moving from our high season, our popular tourist season, into our slow season. The end of April going into May. May is generally the hottest month of the year, and we've been getting some hot months. I've even for many months, I usually have my windows, balcony door windows open, nice breeze blowing through, about 80 to 85 degrees, and I'm comfortable with a fan blowing. But it's getting up 90 and little even over 90 some days, and more humidity. So I have noticed, as I take notice of a lot of the condominiums, there are fewer lights on in the evenings. I see fewer foreigners out and about. So anyway, about November, the high season starts again. Anyway, well, let's get into some of the prices here, and I'll give you an idea of what's going on. Here's a one-bedroom unit for one. Sometimes, this is a true one-bedroom at 60 square meters, 600 square feet, for about less than $600. Now, I'll tell you the way you can figure out how much is it per square meter. Take your price and divide your square meters into it. Will give you how much it is per square meter. 30,000 pesos divided by 60 meters comes out to about 500 pesos per square meter. Not bad at all. Pretty good price there. And Avida Riala towers are the newer Avida towers by Ayala. 32 square foot furnished studio for unit for rent in Asia Premier, 32,032. When you have these exactly the same, you're basically looking at 1,000 pesos. When these are the same, 1,000 pesos per square meter. And if this number is higher than this number, it means it's over 1,000 pesos per square meter. And depending upon what you're getting for that, now this is I like Asia Premier. It is an older condo. It may be the first condo that was built in the IT Park area. And generally, the units are a little bit larger. Instead of 22 square meters, this studio is 32 square meters, an extra 10 square meters. That makes a difference. 3-bedroom penthouse unit inside IT Park, and with maid's quarters. Usually, if you get a tour, especially if 3-bedroom, you will end up with what they call a maid's quarter. Very small room. You can use it for storage or a maid. 250,000 pesos a month, 312 meters, and that comes out to 801 pesos per square meter. Go down here. Most of you aren't looking for something quite that expensive. 36 square meters, 22,000, 26 square meters, 30 at 30 square meters. There again, 1,000 pesos per square meter. I have explained a couple times to real estate agents in the last year that I thought their units were overpriced because they weren't furnished very well compared to other units I'd seen in the same building that were much better furnished and lower rent. Another one, Asia Premier. This, by the way, is a pool area up there. I've done, I think I've done 3 or 4 different videos of different units in here. 24,000 at 34 square meters, 340 square feet, comes out to about 705 pesos per square meter. Calyx here, 3-bedroom with a balcony, tends to be a little more expensive than the Avidas, 90,000 at 107, comes out to 841 pesos per square meter. 28,000 for 24 square meters. That a little pricey. 1,166 pesos per square meter. And unless something special, I'm not quite sure where this one is. Might be 38th Avenue. It may also include internet and cable television. That's something to consider. Most of these rentals do not include that, but some do. It doesn't tell me which building it's in. Some of these listings don't give you the full details. It says fully furnished up above, fully furnished here. It says no. I believe this also said that you had to pay the condo dues, so that's up and above the 28,000. Could be 70, anywhere from 70 to 100 pesos per square meter. So multiply 24 times 100. Would give you a little 2,400, would give you an idea of what your condo dues would be. Asia Premier, 1-bedroom, 50 square meters, which is a nice size in my opinion. 35,000, about 625 US dollars at today's exchange rate of about 56 pesos to the US dollar. So you see what's available. Studio unit for rent at Calyx Center. Doesn't tell us how large it is here. 18,000 exclusive of dues. So you would pay dues up and above this. So you would multiply your square meters times probably 100. This here too, Avida Towers, 22 square meters is pretty standard for studios. Sometimes you'll get 26, 28, 32 square meter unit, and they'll call it a 1-bedroom. They just basically they take a little bit larger studio, which is still pretty small. They put a divider in it, and they call it a 1-bedroom. But for you guys and girls wanting more space, they're available. 119 square meters, 1,190 square feet. Here's Calyx Center. And I know that many of you are looking for a little bit larger units, so they are available. 2-bedroom unit. And generally, if you get into the higher end, for instance, 38th Park Avenue is a new higher end condo there. Your price goes up accordingly as well. 50,000, 52 square meters, 1-bedroom condo. Very affordable condo, Avida Riala, Tower 3. And Avida Riala is one of the newer towers, and looks like it's unfurnished. Probably you would have to, for 26 square meters, a little bit more room than the 22, which is very common, and 15. So I'm guessing up above that you would probably have to pay condo dues. Another 2,600, something like that, probably. Here at 38th Park Avenue, higher end, and yeah, 28,000. This is over 1,000 per square meter, 25 square meters for a studio there. So jumping over to DOT Property, one of the larger real estate companies here, and they've got listings for sales as well as, and you can list properties, new homes, commercial, overseas, find an agent, all kinds of information, and you can go by a rent or sale, what you're looking for, your price range, number of bedrooms, all this type of thing. You can filter it on down. So 2 bedrooms, 55,000. This is in 38th Park Avenue, which is part of the reason why it's over 1,000 per square meter at 24.48 square meters. I suspect this one, 24 square meters at 35,000. I suspect that is in 38th Park Avenue, being it's this expensive for that. Avida Riala, 22 square meters, basically 25,000. So over 1,000 per square meter. 23 square meters at 25,000. 119 square meters, 90,000. 1 bedroom condo for rent, Cebu IT Park, 36 square meters, a little bit larger, more livable, 25,000. 1 bedroom condo for rent. Now here's a case where 23 square meters. That's a small studio, and they're calling it a 1 bedroom here. So apparently they put up a divider. I don't see a divider here, but boy, how they call it a. We're going to look at rentpad.ph as well. They generally list a little lower priced units for those of you looking for more budget type units, but there are options out there. Again, 1 bedroom condo, 26 square meters, 20,000. There again, if they're putting some kind of divider in between the living space and the dining space. Can you negotiate? Most of these leases are 1 year. Some will go down to 6 months, and I've even had friends tell me they've talked people into 3-month leases. Here's one here. These are the Avida Towers, the original Avida Towers. There's a pool right here in the middle. I've done quite a number, 4, 5, 6 videos in these towers. And 26 square meters, so it's bigger than 22 by a little bit, a little more comfortable, at 20,000 per month. So there are options. Jump over here to a site called Trovit.com or Trovit.ph, not .com. Go down here and see what they have listed. 1 bedroom, 35 square meters, 25,000. This is in Grand Residences, though. It's across the street. Basically, it's across the street from IT Park, not in IT Park itself. And I've done videos here in Grand Residences, and they've got a number of units on this site that aren't really in IT Park, I think. Anyway, 79 square meters, 2 bedroom, fully furnished, 65,000. 22 square meters at 18,000. There again, are condo dues included or not? 6 square meters, 20,000. Again, this unit is not in IT Park. The median at the LaGuardia extension in Lahug, not very far from IT Park, but several blocks anyway from IT Park. 21 square meters at 20,000, almost 1,000 per square meter. Azalea, On Gerardo Avenue, also not in IT Park, not really that close to IT Park. Um, 25,000 for 36 square meters. Some of these owners will negotiate. I have been told several times because their units have sat empty for about 3 years plus because of the government travel lockdown. So, they're motivated to get somebody into their unit. You can always ask. And jumping over to rentpad.com.ph, sometimes they have some of the cheaper units listed. I've been told over the years that sometimes their listings are not up to date. Some of these places might be rented already, but they tend to have a little bit of the lower end, a little bit less expensive units. There again, sometimes you get what you pay for. So be aware. Just what do you need? What do you desire? Anyway, here's a brand new studio, fully furnished, 23 square meters, 14,000. Hernan Cortez Street, corner of Kebhog Street. So that's Bamboo Bay Community. I've done videos there. I lived there. I lived there for more than a year, I think. This includes 14,000 includes your condo dues. Parking, if you want to park, 3,500 per month. Avida Towers, 18,000, 22 square meters. Midpoint Residences, this is in Mandawi, not very far from J Center Mall. San Remo Oasis is out at SRP, South Road Properties, fully furnished 2-bedroom for rent. 30 square meters. I'm not quite sure how they fit 2 bedrooms in there. One of them is going to be extremely small, I would put it that way, or perhaps both of them are if you have a reasonable amount of living space out here. 1-bedroom unit. This looks like, I'm pretty sure this is in City Suites, Ramos Tower. 41 square meters. You got a balcony, I'm pretty sure, is 2 or 3 square meters here at 26,000 per month. Horizons 101, 22 square, exactly 1,000 per square meter there. You pay condo dues also. For rent, furnished studio at Mabolo Garden Flats, 15,000 a month. I've done a number of videos in there as well. Amaya Steps over in Mandawi, right next to the bridge. I've done a video there, at least one video there. 26 square meters, 14,000 a month. So that is an introduction to the 5 condo developments in IT Park. Calyx, Asia Premier, Avida, the 2 original towers, Avida Riala, I think it's 5 new towers, and 38th Fifth Avenue. All available, different sizes. The cheaper ones in general will be at the first 2 original Avidas. But there again, if you're an owner and you bought in pre-selling years ago, you can get lower rent and still make a return on your investment. If you bought in at the higher prices when it was finished and the top in late 2019, before the pandemic, you need to get more money for that property to make any kind of return on investment. On the other hand, if your property has been sitting vacant for three or more years, you might be motivated just to take anything, to get some kind of cash flow there. Oftentimes it's the integrity and honesty of the owner of the unit that you are going to rent from that is just as important as the cost. And as I've said before, there's basically 3 types of renters. Those who have plenty of money and getting what they want with all the amenities and location, and they can afford to spend the money, pretty much regardless of what it is. There are those of us in the middle who are on a fixed pension of some sort and have to be careful. We can, if we're careful, we can live comfortably here in the Philippines. The experts over the years say that you should only spend 25 to 30% of your net, your take-home earnings on your house and or rent. Now, in reality, many people around the world spend 50% or more of their take-home, and they have to skimp on food and don't buy insurance for their cars, different things to skimp by, or they work 2 or 3 jobs. My experience and observation with others as well, discussing this with other expats, is that it is more expensive living in the Philippines than I had expected after doing a lot of research, reading books and watching videos. In the end, it ended up costing me more to live reasonably well, although I had relatively low rent here. Just other things, the food and the foreign food, imported food is more expensive than if you're going to eat more of the Filipino, the lower cost type things. I know there are a lot of people who live on a much lower budget than I do, and there are those that live on a much higher budget than I do. Um, and then there's, like I said, there's three types of people. And then there's the guys are on the very tight budget who really have to be careful. And my suggestion is when you come here, uh, be very careful, budget wisely, know what you're spending, keep track of it, um, and take care of yourself. If you get ill, there's different bugs here, different types of bugs that we can get, different types of illnesses, respiratory, different things. So go to the doctor and get something early on. Don't wait until it gets much worse. I've lived in 6 condominiums here in Cebu City in 8 years. I've usually moved to try to find a little bit better place or two and get away from the noise. I've had trouble getting away from the noise. I have not been very successful at that, but I bear it. I bear it. I will do another more in-depth video about leases. I've seen two of my condos were just verbal agreements, and that worked out okay. But I think a lease is good. Have it spelled out there, and there's some things to watch out for. So I will talk about that in another video. Read through your lease, and I've walked away from one lease because of what it said. Basically said if anything breaks, you have to replace it. So if the refrigerator breaks a month in, quits working, I have to replace it. I don't think so. I didn't break it. I don't know how old it is. So I walked away from that lease. These real estate companies are a big source of listings. Facebook Marketplace is a listing. In fact, I found the place I'm living in here after a lot of frustration. I found it there. There's also more scams on Facebook than you will find with these real estate companies. So be careful. Make sure you're renting from the actual owner and or their approved agent. I did a video about a rental scam a while back. Somebody I knew and the agent who I had met. The agent apparently was just pocketing the money, not paying, not sending it off to the owner. The owner eventually found out and the person renting there, somebody I know, was given 4 hours to move out. You're not allowed to live here. You don't have a legitimate lease. So make sure that if you're dealing with the agent that they have some kind of power of attorney, are legit. Probably doesn't happen very often, but it can happen. I have paid agents a couple times the initial payment, um, probably because usually on a 1 year lease, the agent's commission is usually 1 month's rent. So if they collect the 1 month plus 2 months deposit, they would generally keep one of those security deposits. That's their commission. And but subsequently to that, I've always made deposits into their bank account or I think one place I paid the admin office, and not the real estate agent. So if you're, it would be a little bit unusual, I would think, to every month pay the real estate agent. But there are probably some owners who have that type of arrangement. They may be living overseas, don't want to deal with it, and they give that power of attorney to their agent. Anyway, enough talking. Looking forward to your comments, your experiences. Take care, safe travels, and see you next time.